Hello, hello everybody. Are you enjoying the event? All right. So I want to ask a question, but first to the audience. How many of you are optimistic about AI? Please raise your hand. Okay, okay. Put your hands down. How many of you feel that AI is still like a gimmick? Please raise your hand. Okay? Okay. So we have conflict, like the basic thing that's required for a good video or for a good movie right here on stage. What do you feel? You didn't raise hand for anything. Are you
No,
optimistic?
you said the audience, so I took it very literally.
Yeah,
No,
sure.
also I like being neutral and not taking a position. So
Lovely. So follows
That's
Indian
not,
Express
that's not
policy.
how your newspaper operates. He's never neutral, he always takes a side, which is a good thing, right? But that's such bullshit, I'm always neutral.
I'm
But
glad somebody
between
else said
friends,
it.
what do you feel? Let's be specific. What are you optimistic
He's
about?
media, he's nobody's friend.
I'm nobody's friend. That's true. No, I mean, look, I think it doesn't matter what I feel about how optimistic or how pessimistic or how I mean, I think it's real. It's here, and there's just really. I mean, we just have to figure out how to make the most of it.
You have to accept the reality that
I believe so, exactly. I think that, look, you know, there's a lot we can talk about, you know, oh, this will change and that will change. And there's a lot people are genuinely frightened about. I am too. I mean, it's, you know, journalism so much, you know, is ripe for disruption with AI. But, you know, I think we should just figure out how to do it in a way that actually helps society, helps democracy, helps journalism, helps media, helps movies, helps music. And it's just really, I think, conversations like this at least make us aware about how we can do it in a way that helps.
so basically AI is a tool and any tool is as good as the hands that are holding it. So if it's in the good hands, then great. If it's not in good hands, then not so great. That's why we need AI in India. We need data privacy in India. So then that's why I feel all of us are here. You want to take it?
Right. I wanted to ask, when we talk about AI, a lot of us seem to only look at the consumer-facing AI, but then AI can be used in operations to increase efficiencies and all. Are you all in your respective organizations using AI on the back end for operations to increase efficiencies? Would like to hear both your thoughts.
Look, I was just kidding. I think AI is a reality that we all need to wake up to. But I like balancing things out. I think blockchain was a buzzword a while back, then Bitcoin. And you know, there's a lot of this bullshit that goes on, and then people just extrapolate that, and then without understanding you're just swirling around this nonsense, right? Without actually understanding how these tools can apply to you, what is the reality behind it? Is there something that you can make out of it, right? Every 2 years, there's some bullshit buzzword that comes out, and then everybody's only talking about that.
Right.
Which is good as a conversation, but what really comes out of it? So I'm a realist in that sense that we used AI or use AI in two ways. It's still very, very nascent. So for example, when you come to our customer support, we've replaced a lot of that through AI learning tools. And when you come today, I know everybody's been talking about heady stuff on AI. I'm talking about basics. That when you come to BookMyShow today and you chat, our tool is a self-learning tool which uses a lot of AI tooling at the back end to make it more efficient and more responsive to you with very specific answers and immediate answers. The other thing that we used, which today I can show my face to public, I was in hiding about Coldplay, right? So in Coldplay, or any of our large concerts, and we have Lollapalooza happening this coming weekend, we've used AI tools for disaster management. So what it does is that in case of any emergency, how do you get 60,000 or 100,000? In the case of Ahmedabad, we had 115,000 people out of a stadium at a certain point in time, how quickly? And that we will never know how consumers behave. And so we used an AI tool which tells us on behavior patterns to say if there was a fire or if there was a disaster, what is the mass of crowd, where are they going to go in which way, and that came out of AI. So we would never know that are they going to run right, are they going to go left, are they going to go upwards towards that section, and we used that and we applied that with our fire marshals, with police, with security on how do you exit. So those are the kind of tools that we are slowly starting to apply, but it's a reality. And I would wait and look at what you would apply in each of your businesses.
Big round of applause for this, because a lot of times, yes, please. A lot of times when we talk about AI, the conversation is limited to generative AI. But the big question is that how do we apply AI to make lives of people's better? How can we make India 1% better? That's the overall thought that needs to go behind AI. So then AI remains a tool and AI doesn't, start controlling us like Terminator or something like that. Yeah? What do you think?
No, I think, maybe I think I'll just say a few stories that I think, even though this is a Bombay Tech audience, I hope most of you have heard about some of the stories that we have done. So I'll just say a few stories that we've done, and I'll tell you how AI can or can't help. I think the first big story that I hope most of you are aware of is the Panama Papers and the Paradise Papers and all the foreign offshore leaks. So the government of India collected 20,000 crores from the Panama Papers and all these leaks that we kind of put out of unpaid tax money. Another story that we had done, and I'm giving you a random list of stories, and I'll come to the point. JP Nadda, before the elections, said that BJP doesn't need the RSS to win elections anymore. That was a big turning point for the elections. It was a big moment in the fourth phase of the elections when he kind of made that statement. Recently, we did a big story about how Trump and Musk were wrong. The $21 billion that US aid paid for voter turnout in India was actually not for India, it was Bangladesh. And it was just an error that Musk made. And a fourth story I'll say is Tharoor. We had an interview with Tharoor last week where he said, I've got other options. Talking about, he seemed to be saying if the Congress doesn't want me, I have other options. If anybody knows all four of these stories, I'll feel very happy. I assume not everybody. But in these four stories that had massive, that had massive impact around the country, I think two stories with AI could have been done at, a tenth the amount of effort and could have been done much better. Both the Panama Papers and the Bangladesh, the US aid.
Because there is so much data to process?
Because there's just so much data to process. So Panama Papers, we had a team of 6 people who have been working every year for 6 months. Every time there's a leak, they spend 6 months working every year. Now, it's the amount of resources we put into that. They're the senior most people. They're really expensive resources. They're really experienced resources. Now, all of that, have they been enabled with AI, could have been done in a month at best, right? It took a lot of time for our investigative reporter to figure out why Musk and Doge made a mistake thinking about $21 million going to India instead of Bangladesh. It was a clerical error or whatever, I don't know, but it was a mistake. And had we had AI, we would have come to that earlier, and other people would have come to that conclusion earlier. So AI would have helped journalism, and I think those stories helped society, they had impact, and that would have been good. The interview with JP Nadda, it was in a room, you're sitting in a room, the reporter or the editor is assessing his body language, and is then, acting on the fly and taking a position. And then saying, let's push on this. He's gone this direction. Maybe we can ask him about this, and maybe that's an interesting angle, an interesting element that, probably an AI engine wouldn't be able to do. Similar with Tharoor, right? So I think if you had an Indian Express AI interviewing a Shashi Tharoor AI or interviewing a JP Nadda AI, I think that would make for a very boring interview for audiences to read. I mean, that's just my view of it now. Whatever I understand about AI, that's my view of it now. But I think that's the human side of journalism. That's the human side of creating content, where you're sitting across the table and you're able to assess cues.
Which we can't replace.
Which I don't know if we can't. From what I understand, we can't. But there are a lot of, I'm sure, the techies here who will challenge that, who will say that actually we can replace that also. I don't know, but
maybe not yet.
At least not yet. But by the time we're done with this conversation, maybe there will be so much evolution that it will be done. That's the speed at which AI is kind of evolving, from what I understand. I'm no techie. But I think the point is that, again, it's our choice. Are we going to use it for good? Are we going to use it to be scared and they kind of freeze up? Or are we going to use it to kind of be disruptive and do things that are not good? So I think the locus on our faculties, on the people controlling AI, on their faculties, is unprecedented. I think that the importance of that is the most right now.
Lovely. Speaking about human interactions, recently you interviewed Yuval Noah Harari, if I'm correct. What were his thoughts about AI? Is
Oh, he's a complete doomsday guy
complete
with
doomsday
AI.
guy.
Yeah.
Would you like to share some of his thoughts? What did you learn from?
I mean, look, he's spoken about it a lot, and just read my interview, I guess. No.
I did. I just want you to
I'm
say it.
like- no, look, I think, in fact, I try to get him away from AI because he's been talking about it so much. I try to get him to talk about other things. But I think what he said and what I kind of agree with him. I don't agree with a lot of the stuff he said. But I think some of the things that I agree with him is that the concentration of power is unprecedented. Now, if you look, I mean, I think there are 4 people sitting in Silicon Valley. There are 4 entities. I mean, the amount of control they have over the world, it's unprecedented, right? Our friend Harsh is an exception. He's been able to build an extraordinary company, without any Apple, Google support. He's done it on his, with just that. But these are exceptions. I think if any content creator or a business wants to scale, it needs the internet. And if it needs the internet, it needs Apple, it needs Google, it needs Meta. And so, these organizations now are so powerful. I think with every tectonic shift in technology, it seems that the concentration of power ends up getting more and more and more. And that's my fear with AI.
Right. So talking about, I'm just going to take concentration of power and then shift to BookMyShow. So before BookMyShow started, booking tickets in theaters, I was just discussing it with him. Earlier when we booked tickets for theaters, for movies and stuff, it used to be like a bit of a gamble because you'd run to the theater and then at the box office actually see what seats are available. So in that sense, BookMyShow's truly changed the game for booking tickets for events. So I wanted to ask about one more thing. Like, do you think that AI is going to disrupt events, music, movies, or plays, or things that BookMyShow actually takes care of?
That's a great question. Look, we think about that a lot, and like Anand said, I think eventually this judgment call will have to be taken by humans themselves, that how far do they want to push it, and what is the acceptance of that. So I'll give you a few examples. In BookMyShow today, we're using a lot of the tooling for recommendations. Now, that is a real need where you have, you come on the site and you've got thousands of shows, and the tool is self-learning to then push up or promote things that we think you would like, right? Or you would want to purchase. Now, that's one use case. Now, when you look at creativity, and humans have been at the forefront of creativity all our lives, and design and music and sports and all of that. How far do you want to push it? Today, there are movies that are on sci-fi which are made completely on AI tooling. You don't need a human. There's an engineer sitting and creating that. A lot of the electronic dance music is, at the end of the day, a DJ, but he's also somebody who is a technologist, who's using tools to create that sound and that music. If any of you have seen ABBA, I don't know how old you are, but ABBA used to be a band many, many years ago. You don't look that old.
No, but I love ABBA songs.
I have 3 gray hair in my beard, so then.
Okay. So if you go to London, there is this company called Stewfish which has designed this venue, and they have something called the ABBA experience, which has been running for the last 4 years. They've just extended it by 2 years. It's completely based on tech. It is shocking. If you haven't seen it and you're in London, I would urge you to see that. I've seen it a few times. I know the technology. It's ABBA, the 4 band members of ABBA, with a live band which is playing. So it's real and tech. But the 4 people from ABBA are actually holograms. It is completely hologram. There is no human on stage, but there are 4 ABBA band members who are alive, mind you, but they are not there. It's a hologram. And if they don't tell you it's a hologram, there is no way on earth you would know that those 4 are holograms. So you're sitting in an audience like that. There is a dance floor. It's going to sold out shows for 4 years. You don't get a ticket for 4, 5 months. And there's a live band and live singers on both ends. But the 4 guys are basically technology. It's just software. Now, that works in an environment, but would you want artists or a live band to be completely replaced with AI? Then what's the point of going to a concert? You might as well sit at home,
Absolutely.
right? So that judgment call will have to be taken by industries, by humans, by people, and by consumers and fans at the end of the day to say that, do I really want that? There's a huge fan following for electronic dance music, which is generative music. And then there's a big fan following for people who want to go and watch a live show as well. So I'm saying, let the cookie crumble, let it unfurl and unfold over a period of time. Only time will tell. So while the tooling is available, it's a lot of concentration of power. I think let it take its time and its course. Would you want movies to be replaced by actors and just have, animation? It's animation which looks real. I mean, you have to decide for yourself.
I keep thinking about AI and immortality. I mean, think about it this way, that there are so many great authors who have written so many books. So there is a lot of data that's already available. Now, right now, I can't ask a question to Einstein. But with the help of AI, using whatever material is available, can we actually make not humans immortal, but at least the knowledge immortal? So then in the future, we can have museums of people with their knowledge. Just a random thought experiment. What do you feel about this? Like, do you think this is possible?
And if such a
It
thought
was a bounce.
experiment-
I didn't understand the question, but
Okay.
anyways, I'll let
I'll-
somebody else answer. I don't understand only.
Okay,
It's too
okay.
complex for me. But anyways,
I'll simplify his question. Can you have, a Rajesh Khanna movie releasing today in a fresh, brand new script and fully animated Rajesh Khanna? You will not even know that he's dead.
That's exactly what is ABBA. So if you see the 4 holograms, they are modernized and digitized to today's contemporization. It's not their original look.
But it's their original music, no?
It's their original music, and if they would have aged today,
What
if
would
they
their
would have
music be?
aged, what would they look like today?
And what would that music be?
No,
Actually, original composition
The music
also.
is original composition.
No, but AI can create original composition. What would ABBA sound like in year 2025 had they been alive still?
Which
That's
is
what your
what-
question is, right?
Yeah, possible. I mean, and yeah, it's possible. That's what
I'm trying to simplify it a little bit. Let's not talk about music or let's not talk about visuals because that's subjective. But let's talk about knowledge. I mean, let's take any favorite author of yours. Let's say J.K. Rowling. J.K. Rowling is alive today. Or let's say George R.R. Martin, because you are a Game of Thrones fan. So then George R.R. Martin is not completing the 6th book right now. But then we can ask him questions about what happens later on. So that's what I'm referring to, that because there is so much information, that can AI reach that level? That's what I'm talking about.
100% that 100% it'll leave, but do you want it to reach that level?
That's-
I have a 12-year-old son who's bloody using ChatGPT to give his submissions here. It's making him dumber. I'm saying, do you want that to happen? Is the question. Everything is possible. It'll replace you. There'll be a AI bot asking me a question in the future. But do you want that to happen? Is the question. I mean, there are some lines you have to draw, right? Today, AI controls you. Maybe I have to change my wife's name to AI. She controls me all the time. But all I'm saying is, do you want that to happen?
Right. So you spoke about red lines. So what would be these red lines that you would draw in a world of AI? We don't have to respectively stick to your genres of entertainment and media. But then if there were any red lines that you would draw for AI, what would those be?
We're used to complaining, not used to solving. No, it's a tough one. I think the red line is, you just come back to the basic, like, are you helping society or are you making it worse? So if you ask me, look, everybody's got a cause that they feel passionate about, right? Some people feel passionate about climate change, some people feel passionate about mental health, whatever, gender issues. I think the cause that bothers me the most is polarization. I think we have never seen a world so polarized, right? Like where if you talk to 2 people in America today, you can't imagine they live in the same planet, forget the same country, right? Like they've got, and I think what scares me is that, hyper personalization with AI, the hyper personalization actually can create much more polarization.
It will create an echo chamber.
The echo chamber becomes louder and louder. So to the extent that, okay, so let's say you have a political campaign happening today. You have a guy who's going to come to campaign today. Now, the messaging that he will speak to you is going to be around technology because it's a room full of technologists. I mean, he'll go outside and try to address the people who built this hall. He will be talking about maybe roti, pani, whatever, the same stuff that he talked about earlier. That's already happening. But in the AI digital world, that will be happening at a scale to which you will not be able to track how many times he's how many times he said two different things, at the same time. So what he's saying here, I will subsidize technology. He'll go out and tell somebody else who doesn't like the fact that technology should be subsidized, that I will not subsidize technology. And you'll just keep polarizing people in this way. It can happen. So somebody has to, I don't know who that is, the people who control the AIs, I guess, are the people who have to come and draw these red lines and say, whatever is happening should be helping society, not kind of making it worse. And it's a broad statement, but
You're absolutely right. See, again, I'm being realistic, and I'll use a real life example. We've been thinking about it, and we put it into our pipeline. If it enhances the human endeavor in a positive way, I'm all for it. But if it diminishes over a period of time where it makes you dumber, it makes you replaceable, you're actually doing disservice to yourself over a long period of time. I'll give you a real life example. We just got off two large shows. One was Coldplay and Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran we did in various markets. Now what happens when you go to a show like that? The lights that are being managed, which are on the show or in the audience, the lasers, the IMAX and the screens and the stuff that you see at the back, is all pre-programmed. But there's a human there who's reacting to the artist and doing it in real time, right? As we went through this Ed Sheeran tour across the country, we just came back and we have Lollapalooza this weekend. One of the things as a direction that we've started working with our tech team internally is our next shows that we produce will potentially be in real time, where there will be smarts, where the lights, the IMAX, the immersive experience of the artist on stage will be programmed in real time. That what are the images? So if the artist does something different, the images or the lighting or whatever that's surrounding and is immersive with the audience will be in real time using these tools which deliver that. And it's not based on one guy standing at the console and making sure that he's doing something to react to the artist. So I think that collaboration of a human endeavor with technology using AI tooling can actually enhance the experience for fans and the engagement to make it more immersive.
I want to ask the organizers, do we have time for one or two audience questions? Do we do that or no? Yes, we say yes. Okay, we have two questions. Okay, the most enthusiastic one gets the opportunity.
The questions are for
Everybody
them.
is sitting, nobody is enthusiastic enough. Okay, the one guy who's standing.
The questions are for
Mike, please.
for both of
Okay,
them.
related to AI, okay? Don't ask random questions.
Boss, nobody's enthusiastic because the sun has gone down and you're into the beer drinking time. Everybody wants to get the hell out of this dark room here.
Achha, while the mic comes, can I get sure, if you have to choose between government and the people who run technology companies, right? So you're big tech. If you have to choose between government and big tech to control AI, who do you have more faith in? Hands up for government,
Good question.
hands up for big tech.
Good question.
I have faith in
Third
none
option,
of
any
them.
third options? Anyone skip my third option?
Yeah, I have faith in none of them. I have faith.
Is there a third option?
There has to be.
I can't do it.
Yes, the question.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so have the mic. So if at all an AI generative movie was to be released today, what would the media write about it and what would BookMyShow's reaction be to that?
Sorry, come again?
If an fully AI generated feature film was launched today, what would be your reaction to that? And what would the media write about it as well?
Look, if it's in
Can you
movie
pass the
theaters,
mic, please?
if it's in movie theaters and I'm selling tickets for it, I don't care. Shit.
No, those guys are filmmakers. They met us outside. They're actually making an AI-generated movie.
Please release it
and,
in movie theaters. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, that's what they have.
Release in
A,
theaters.
they have a plan to do that.
I think our film critic Shubhra Gupta will be just as critical as she always is. I don't think it'll change. But there was an AI generated paparazzi subject. I mean, it was a woman. You guys remember that? There was an AI woman who everybody kept. It was a disaster. Didn't go anywhere, right? So anyway.
Okay.
Cool, perfect. Hi everyone, and hi Ashish. Thank you for Coldplay. I'm your big fan. Not just for the sake of it, I'm truly a big fan. So yeah, here my question goes. So the concert economy overall in India or abroad is rising, and India is not behind. My question to you is, say for example, I'm a 25-year-old and I want to be in experience or concert economy. How can I integrate AI? And yeah, I mean, yeah, just that.
No, we spoke a bit about that earlier on the panel. I think, look, there is a lot of work that is required when you put up a show. Like we spoke about disaster management, we speak about the tech that goes around to make it an immersive experience. I think the music, on the music and recording label side, A&R, there's a lot of work that is being done which is around these tools. Some of it we're involved in, some of it we're not. But if you immerse yourself on what is happening in like, you know, when we come up with these stages, everybody thinks of a stage as just one box, but there's a lot of work. Like this weekend, just to give you another example, again to keep it real, this weekend we have Shawn Mendes, who's the first act on the main day, and then we've got Green Day on the second act. On that stage and the rig that we've set up, we've got 24 tons of lighting equipment and rigging. And it uses a system called the Kinesis lighting system. So Shawn Mendes' lighting rig is going to use this Kinesis lighting system which moves in real time. That is all pre-programmed using AI technology. It's got nothing to do with a human, it'll react in real time when he's on stage. And then it comes down the next day and the new rigging comes from T4 tower right up to the backstage. So what it does is that I think there is already tech that is being applied and AI being used in some way. I just don't know to the extent that this will go in the next 10 years. I'm not a soothsayer, but it's already in the making. So if you sort of immerse yourself and you sort of get into this world, you'll find as a technologist, as an engineer, as a software programmer, things that are already in the pipeline. I mean, we're using it here in India. I'm sure globally they're a few years ahead of us already.
Got it, got it. Thank
One
you.
last question. Okay, somebody who's enthusiastic. Pick one guy. Okay, that white t-shirt.
Somebody from that side,
To be fair.
We'll be accused of being very left of center otherwise.
I don't think anybody.
Hi, my name is Sudarshan Devadiga. I have a question for you. What went wrong with Cass concert and it could have been prevented with AI?
AI related?
It could have been prevented with AI, the Cass Bangalore concert.
No, in
Which-
Bangalore, are you from Bangalore?
No, I was going to travel.
Right. No, it's got nothing to do with AI. There was a electricity power fluctuation issue, and which was an earthing issue, which blew up one of the consoles, which could not be replaced in time.
Could it have been prevented with AI?
I don't think so.
A little bit of optimistic last question. Like, let's end on a good note. Like, come on. Okay.
Hello. Yeah, left.
Should I ask my question?
Yes, please. Ask.
So this is not to offend you, but as genuine fans, what can BookMyShow do to stop the reselling
If
of
you
black?
start something with not to offend you, how is it going to be like a positive question?
No, no.
It's fine. It's fine. I mean, it's got nothing to do with today's topic, but let me explain this, and I've said this before. There were 1 million people trying to buy tickets, which were 150,000 people in Mumbai and 200,000 people in Ahmedabad. It's 4 tickets per person. You divide that by 4. There's only for Bombay, the first 2 shows, which are 100,000, you could buy only 25,000 tickets. 30% of the people that bought the tickets from Maharashtra, 25% were from Bombay, 70% came from outside. So the problem over there is when you say reselling is illegal in India. None of the platforms that are operating are supposed to operate in the country. But if somebody takes that, and if there's a site in Estonia, the law is to prevail, and the implementation of the law to stop these guys, right? I can't stop somebody doing that. There were 960 tickets that were available on these sites. The point is, everybody's email ID, transaction ID, device ID, home address is available to us. That's how we ship the bands to you. But in spite of that, if somebody does that, the law enforcement has to catch up to be able to implement that. So I think that's the key. I mean, if I put it basically today, every guy that buys a t-shirt of a band or a cricket match, you know, Harsh has these jerseys, right? There are IP rights to that. You go to a cricket game, everybody is selling it on the street for 200 rupees. That's wrong. It's somebody's IP, but the law and the implementation has to be to stop that guy. Can't help it.
All right, so.
Yeah, hello. Hi Anant, there's one question to you. So how do you see AI watermarking techniques solve the issue which you spoke about, which is deeply personalized videos and ethical deepfakes, unethical deepfakes? And to Ashish, when are you getting Robert Downey Jr. to India?
Robert Downey Jr. is a more exciting question. Look, listen, I will take any technology I can get to prevent plagiarization. I mean, I feel like, we have 850 journalists, working across the country. And, we break some of the best stories every day. And, it just gets picked up and people just use it. And, I find that if I can claim ownership, in music, if somebody were to dance to a song on Instagram 100 times, that somebody is being recognized. YouTube has figured it out. Every time I feel like in almost every medium now, whether it's film or music or whatever we can think of, the original is getting recognized. And the original, they have found ways to create financial incentive for somebody to invest in creating original content. That's not happening in news. It's getting tougher and tougher with every tectonic shift in technology. It's getting tougher and tougher to create financial incentive because you don't know who the original is. I don't think it's that hard to figure out who the original is, but I don't think enough effort is going into it. So I'm all for it, yeah, whatever we can kind of do.
Can I make last comments? Okay. It's Saturday night. It's 6:30. There's alcohol and great booze. You 2 drinks down, you all will have great ideas on AI, and everybody's engagement and conversations will improve. Can we please move to the bar? I mean,
All right. Thank you so much. Big round of applause for that announcement.
We'll end on that high note. So.